Not a day goes by without me thinking about that way the world stopped in motion. When you walked into my life and we connected like we share the same emotion. Couldn't help but move that
I've been struggling for a while now to write out exactly how I feel about Persona 4, or even Persona in general, without it taking up most of this review. Persona is one of the rare few franchises that I consider to be deeply important in making my life the way it is now. It stands next to Project Diva, Danganronpa, and the Soulsborne games as some of the most important pieces of media to ever enter my life. I bought nearly every reasonably priced Persona game I could get my hands on, so when Atlus announced that they were making a Persona 4 based rhythm game for the Vita in 2015, I waited eagerly for it. Persona 4 Dancing All Night was the result. I was disappointed, needless to say. I was so disappointed, in fact, that I actually sold my original copy of the game, and I had to buy a new one for this review. Well, it's been about 3 years since I last played it. Do I still hate the game? Yeah. Yeah, I do. I guess the best place to begin is with the things I actually liked about the game. Nanako's in it. She's cute. That's a plus. I liked some of the music. Of course, I knew that I would, because it was already in another game. That's it. 2 things. Everything else about this game makes me wish I had never played it. Even something as simple as the visuals. Persona 4, while not having as strong of a visual style as Persona 5, had a good style of its own. Persona 4 Dancing, or P4D as I'll call it from now on, forgot about that almost entirely. This is easily one of the worst looking rhythm games I've ever played, well, aside from Vib Ribbon. Characters look fine, just bland. Nowhere near the style you would expect. This game's only color scheme is neon. Most of the game takes place on neon flashing dance floors with neon flashing backgrounds. Even the rhythm game parts of the screen flash neon from time to time, making even those hard to look at. I actually started to feel sick from all the flashing lights after about an hour or so. To top it all off, the dances are all incredibly lazy. They repeat dance moves often, and don't look choreographed to the song at all. Megpoid the Music honestly had better looking dances, and that game was made by a company I don't even think existed in the first place. The presentation isn't the only thing seriously wrong with this game though. There are only 25 songs in the base game, which is somehow even shorter than the Megpoid the Music list. That's impressive, because this game was made by a AAA developer who already owned the licenses to all of the songs. And what is this game's excuse? DLC, of course. This game is just a chance to upsell you on other Persona songs that should have been included in the base game after you paid $40 for it. On the PS TV I used to record, I don't have access to the English PlayStation Store, so I won't be playing the DLC. So, that just leaves me with the built-in songs. And what songs are built in? Well, half of them are just remixes, which take up slots that could have gone to new or original songs from Persona 4, like Snowflakes or Mist, which are both mysteriously absent. Some of the remixes are even just remixes of songs that are already in the game, like Best Friends and the Best Friends remix, or Time to Make History and the Time to Make History remix. Pursuing My True Self is in the game 3 times. In the end, there are really only 17 unique songs in the game. All of the others are just remixes of others in the game. With such a small list of songs though, you'd expect the game to at least play well? It doesn't. Not even a little bit. The way this game presents its notes is the most bafflingly awful thing I've seen in my entire time of playing rhythm games. This game takes the route of games like Beatmania or Megpoid the Music, and has the notes flow towards static spots on the screen for the player to hit them. But instead of putting them somewhere normal, like lined up on the bottom or top of the screen, you know, like sane developers, they lined them around the sides of the fucking screen. The notes start in the middle and flow outwards to all different corners of the screen. There is no way to know that a note is coming unless you dart your eyes all around the screen like a lunatic. Normally, the note moving across the screen should catch your eye and alert you that there is a note, but the notes are bright yellow and blend into the background. To compensate for this major fuck up in game design, The notes tend to make clockwise or counterclockwise rotations around the screen. Because the inputs are mapped to which corner of the screen they're heading towards, this makes the inputs boring, repetitive, and predictable. When every input in the entire game is X, circle, triangle, right, down for 25 songs in a row, it gets boring, and this nightmarish, neon-colored fever dream gets even worse. To add a nice little cherry on top, because the notes start in the middle and expand outwards, there is nowhere to focus your eyes. To follow the notes, you either need to defocus your eyes entirely, or follow the notes to 2 different corners of the screen. Just in case you're an actual fucking lizard, that is not how human eyes work. To put it simply, this game's rhythm mechanics and color scheme are a formula for eye strain. Making matters somehow even worse, the beat maps don't follow the songs well at all, and are really inconsistent, making it somehow even harder to follow the notes. There are even ring notes that have no focal point that you can follow, meaning it's typical to have to take your eyes off of the notes to hit these, losing track of the notes in the process. Technically, you can just ignore them as they don't count against you, but they are required to enter fever time. Fever time is a section of the song that increases your note values and such, making it the time to push for passing the song, so they are very important to your performance as a whole. Speaking of passing songs, this game uses a version of the groove gauge, my favorite mechanic. I'm already not a fan of this horrible method of deciding if someone passes or fails a song, but this game manages to make it so much worse than it already was. Instead of showing a full gauge that fills and empties over time like so many other better rhythm games, it uses a group of cheering figures at the top of the screen. They change colors depending on how well you do. Red means failing, white means failing, and green and flashing both mean passing. These could be helpful if the game gave you any clue at all as to how close you are to moving up a stage. The figures will sometimes cheer with their arms up, but that's the most I could possibly think of as far as indicators go. Even if it was helpful to the player visually, it would still have massive issues. The groove gauge takes far too long to increase a stage. You'll most likely spend most of the song in white, even if you're playing near perfectly. If you fuck up, you may as well restart, as the groove gauge falls far too fast. Missing 3 or 4 notes in a row can drop you down an entire stage, which will take half the song to get back. This expands the issue I already have with groove gauges, where the ending of the song is weighed far more than the rest of it, as messing up even a little bit will cause an instant failure. At the end of every song, if you pass, the character that you're playing as will call out their persona and have them perform on an instrument. Every single one of these looks horrible, and causes a healthy dose of secondhand embarrassment on behalf of the personas themselves, especially Kentucky Doji DJing. It appears as though no effort was put into actually animating that sequence. And just when you thought I was running out of complaints, there's more. This game managed to fuck up note ratings. I can't be bothered to remember this game's equivalent of cool and fine, or 300 and 100 if you prefer, as I play far too many rhythm games for that, and those two are fairly inoffensive in this game. The one that sticks out to me, however, is the good rating. This game's equivalent of safe is beyond fucked. Sometimes it'll drop your combo, other times it won't. It doesn't even appear to be linked to the timing either. At one point, I let go of a long note far too early, and got a good that didn't end my combo. Why is it this inconsistent? Why not just call the one that ends combos something else? Why can't this game get even the most basic of concepts right? Overall, it's not hard to tell that I kinda despise this game. It time and time again proves to not even have a basic grasp of what makes the rhythm game genre good. I am baffled to see that it got not 1, but 2 sequels that appear to have fixed no problems I had with this game. I won't be playing those 2. If you're gonna buy a rhythm game on Vita, stick to Project Diva. And if you already have all the Project Diva games, then buy something like Bakumatsu Rock or IAVT. Much better rhythm games that you'll probably get for much cheaper. Better yet, just buy Persona 4. You'll sink far more hours into that.
Not clear.
That's a shame, but I'll pull it off next time.